Smokes it. That is a fair ball. Stanfield scores. Curiel scores. Here comes Fry. A 3 RBI double for Steven Monster Milo.
And we say happy June the 11th, the Wednesday morning. We are taping Tigers Roar here in the Pelican Sports TV studio. Hello, everyone. Buddy Songy, your host. Jonathan Poche on the other side of the glass producing. Marty Campbell, our incredible cameraman who's been with us for many, many years. We say happy summer to you. Kids have graduated. And for those that are moving on to college, high school, whatever, we wish them the best of luck. It is hot, it is humid, and the Tigers, for the second time in 3 years, are headed to Omaha as they punch their ticket 16-9. The first game on Saturday and 12-5 on Sunday. LSU pretty decisive with their victories. And now, folks, we have a bracket in Omaha, which we have not seen the likes of in many a year. A lot of the top seeds are gone. No more Vandy, no more Texas, no more Georgia, no more North Carolina, no more Ole Miss, no more Auburn. But LSU is there and will place Arkansas. In case you have been cruising or wherever and you're just coming back to the capital city, LSU with the final game this weekend, Saturday night at 6 o'clock against Arkansas, looking to be like Zach Root of Arkansas, a really good lefty, against Cade Anderson of LSU. Of course, Coastal Carolina and Arizona started off Friday morning actually Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Oregon State and Louisville, the 6 o'clock game in that bracket, the LSU bracket, UCLA and Murray State Saturday at 1. And, of course, LSU and Arkansas at 6 o'clock. JP, good to have you back. Good to be back. And suffice to say, it's great to have a little LSU baseball coverage to carry us in further into June. And right out of the gate, JP, they got there. It wasn't always pretty, but they did what they needed to do. And as we know, there will be an incredible amount of LSU fans who descend on Omaha. So happy Wednesday to everybody. Stay hydrated. If you're going to Omaha, we'll give you some tidbits, some do's and don'ts before the end of the show. But, JP, how are we doing on a hump day?
Hey, Bud, man. Great to be back here with you on Tigers Roar. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Of course, you can also check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. I want to give a huge shout-out to the Cal Ripken Experience baseball tournament in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Just got back on Sunday, had a fantastic time. The fields were incredible. 39 interns, mostly young people, all descended with the umpires to host 66 teams on the first week of the Cal Ripken Experience. Had a great time. Happy to be back here on Tigers Roar. Of course, happy to be rooting on the Tigers in Omaha again. I think the only people more pumped up than LSU baseball fans are the folks over there at Rocco's getting ready to sell, 70,000 Jell-O shots to LSU fans. The record will be on the line. Of course, Jay Johnson lives around this time of the year. He eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball, and you have to give him a ton of credit. Did a great job this year of managing not only personalities and playing time, but the relationships he has with the players. They're all really team above me, and that's what it takes to be a special group. Playing good at the right time. You saw Monster Milam had an incredible weekend, lots of RBIs, great at-bats. Ethan Fry all through the regional and through the super. Jay Johnson not afraid to tinker with the lineup, Bud, man, and everybody does their job, executes when their name was called. So excited about the super. Tip your hat to Coach Sabins of West Virginia. He's going to be a very good college baseball coach. You move forward, you look forward to the Arkansas Razorbacks, and Coach Jay Johnson says repeatedly that this is the most talented team in college baseball, so certainly the work will be cut out for the LSU Tigers. But a familiar foe. They took 2 out of 3 from the Razorbacks in the regular season, so LSU knows what's in front of them. They know how to accomplish it, and the big ones out there, go get it.
We talked about it, folks, 3 weeks ago, that for LSU to make it to Omaha, you expect Cade Anderson and Anthony Iacin to be great each and every weekend, and they pretty much have been. Kason Evans, JP, I don't know if you know this, but broke a record. This is the first time in modern-day LSU baseball history that a pitcher has struck out 9 consecutive batters. That happened since the last time we saw you. And the beautiful thing, JP, about the Super Regional is that you didn't even have to use Kason Evans and or Zach Cowan. You mentioned Monster Milan. Let's start off at the top of the lineup. Derek Curiel. We talked about it, folks. Runners in scoring position. You got to get them in. Ducks on the pond. 2-3 weeks ago, I think that there was a couple of weekends where LSU had the bases loaded and left them loaded 3, 4, 5 times. Here we go in the game this past weekend. 3 swings of the bat, accounting for 11 runs, 2 grand slams, and a 3-run shot. But Derek Curiel is over his little wall that he hit, and he is playing fantastic. Has not made an error all year. Good to see Jared Jones move down in the lineup. Ethan Fry had a couple of big weekends. Obviously, Monster Milan, whether you put him in the 3 or the 4 spot, worked with his dad for 5 or 6 days and got his stroke back, his confidence back. Daniel Dickinson's been solid, although I'm tired of seeing him try to bunt. Every time he tries to bunt, seems like he gets jammed with a pitch, whether it be his wrist, his fingers, or whatever. Jake Brown, timely home runs. And how cool was this, JP, to have Josh Pearson play this last weekend, Saturday, and a grand slam. He's been alternating with Jake Brown because Jake's been so hot. And so throughout the lineup, hitting, doing a great job. Only 1 error during the weekend. Defense has been appreciably better. And let's give Nate Yeske. I've been critical and pretty tough on Nate Yeske because he has a tendency to like to throw a lot of fastballs. And I'm talking about 6 or 7 fastballs in a row. Look, if you've got Chase Shores throwing 100 or 101, that's one thing. But Cowan has got to come up with better pitch selection, and we'll see how much they utilize him. But Kason Evans throwing it up there, 95, 96. And then the 2 starters, Cade Anderson has a repertoire of pitches, Anthony Eisen as well. So everybody peaking at the right time. But, JP, you are aware of this. They've got to win that first game on Saturday at 6. If they do that, they will play the winner of UCLA and Murray State Monday at 6. If they lose that game, they will play the loser of the UCLA-Murray State game at 1 on Monday, and that means we won't do any Buddy Sports Talk on Pelican Sports Radio because we learned a long time ago it's hard to go up against LSU football, basketball, or baseball live. But, JP, the biggest turnaround that you've seen since we've last done Tigers Roar 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, obviously the offense has come back, and LSU really has done well at Alex Box Stadium throughout the entire season. But for me, it's been the freshman arms. Jay Johnson has done a great job with Nate Yeske, kind of building these guys' foundations early in the season with midweek games. But to rely on a Kason Evans, a Cooper Williams, a Maverick Rizzi, these guys have thrown impactful innings as true freshmen, and it's only going to get build that foundation even better moving forward for the pitching room to have some experience here in Omaha. I thought Chase Shores did a fantastic job in his closer role coming in to end the game, and he was asked by the reporters, what did you change? You changed how you warmed up, your pitches, your pitch selection. What was it? And Chase Shores really just talked about his intent. And coming out of the bullpen, you have to be ready for the first pitch. He said when he was a starter, he kind of tried to groove his way in and feel some things out. But I think the emergence of the freshman arms has really helped LSU down the stretch. I mean, talk about the Derek Curiels and the Cade Arambedes, and this freshman class has been phenomenal for LSU, but it's the strike throwers that have really impressed me so far.
Chase Shores, I never thought, folks, that I would see it again anytime soon, but there was a batter this past weekend. Shores threw the first pitch at 100, the second pitch at 100, the third pitch at 100, struck him out on a 101 fastball. I did not expect to see those kind of guys. Now, look, Paul Skeens obviously has the record for the number of pitches in a game over 100 miles an hour. But you talked about Maverick Rizzi. I'm a big fan of his. You talk about Chase Shores. You talk about Cooper Williams, a lefty that came in and did a great job. And of course, we all know that the 2 starters, Jay Johnson wouldn't trade Anthony Eisen and Cade Anderson for any 2 starters in the country. JP, keys to beating Arkansas on Saturday at 6 o'clock. I'm a guy, we all know both teams play appreciably worse on the road. LSU beat Arkansas in Baton Rouge in May, 2 out of 3. Arkansas is not great on the road. LSU has not hit the ball well great on the road. So right out of the gate, we'll see the 3 games, and then let's just hope there's not a rain delay or a weather delay Saturday night, JP.
Right.
I've had to refill my blood pressure medicine and my patience pills waiting on all these inordinate weather delays. But you know what? When you're the coach and you got the NCAA guy in your pocket, you can kind of dictate that. But it has been a big inconvenience for a lot of the fans waiting 3, 4, and 5 hours. But none of that matters because there's no more jurisdiction with the head coach with weather. But give me some keys on what you want to see LSU try to do. I'm a big believer in getting ahead early.
Yep.
You give Kate Anderson, and we talked about it yesterday on the radio show, with if you win the first 2 games in Omaha, folks, you get a couple days off. And so would not shock me, JP, to see Anderson go 7-7 in the third, and then you bring in Case and Evans if you're ahead to salt it away, and you win game 1. Yep. You've got Iverson in game 2. You win those 2 games, you're off until 3 days later. And so imperative that you win this first game or 2. You win the marble game, you've got a great opportunity to play for it all, 2 out of 3. And I know the Tiger fan base is excited. And, oh, by the way, JP, it's a little too rich for our blood, but making that trip over there, game tickets, the cheapest ticket right now on all of the websites, $300 to get into the Saturday night game at 6 o'clock. I think I'll watch it on my big 65-inch TV, JP.
Yeah, Bud, man, a tough ticket, but it's going to be a great time out there in Omaha. And you asked me keys to the game. LSU has to continue the same at-bats they were taking this past weekend. Shrink the zone. Don't expand it. Don't swing at the balls that are inches off the black, but and crush the mistakes. And I think LSU did a great job of that. And they got ahead in counts and had runners on base, had traffic, and put pressure on West Virginia in multiple innings, especially early in the game. And I think that's going to be a huge key to the ball game against Arkansas. You saw a great performance by Root. He got really fiery against Texas, and Tennessee, and Tennessee has a great lineup, and Tennessee's a very cocky, confident team that likes to show it on the field and how they celebrate and everything else they do. And Root really competed, and I have to tip your hat to that. And Arkansas is not going to be shy away from this opportunity. Dave Van Horn, obviously a legend in the game after his first championship. So if you remember back in the day, just a few years back, but man, they were 1 foul ball away with 2 outs to win a national championship and blew it. So that taste still has to be in the coach's mouth. He's been there for a really long time. LSU, fortunately for them, have 2 legitimate aces. So I know Coach Jay Johnson has already said, if they do lose the first game, they're not going to panic. They believe, when either of those guys are on the mound, they have a chance to win the game. So, they're going into it with the right mindset. This team's playing at getting hot at the right time. A very talented bullpen if you do have to pull a starter early. But I can tell you, nobody that wears that uniform is expecting Kate Anderson to come out of that game early. He's going to compete. He wasn't happy with his last performance against West Virginia. Gave up too many runs, according to Anderson. Of course, he did a ton of run support, so that helped. But when he toes that rubber in Omaha, it's going to be have to prove a point. He's going to want to dominate, assert his will, just like he has been the entire season. So I'm looking forward to it. But it starts, and I hate to put so much pressure on a freshman, but, man, we talked about the entire season. Derek Curiel is certainly the table setter for the entire team. You saw him get bumped down to that 7th spot for the first game in the Super Regional, and he delivered. Lots of RBIs, had that home run. But he's going to be right at the top of the lineup. He's going to work good at-bats. He's going to get on base. And if Stephen Milam continues the way he's swinging the bat, he can carry this team for a long way, bud, man.
All right, we'll take our first time out. We come back to let you hear from highlights with the Super Regional. Also, we've got Anthony Iacin, Monster Milam, and Bear Jones. We'll also let you hear from Jay Johnson getting you ready for Arkansas, and the Honey Badger. Wait till you see him at the end of the show. He looks like an older guy. He doesn't have the hair anymore. Probably his last year with the Saints. Oh, by the way, we appreciate all of our great sponsors. And don't forget, this weekend, if you're going to watch the game, if you're superstitious, grill up that Manda sausage in Boudin before the game. Eat it while it's going on. It'll bring good luck to the Tigers. We are the official smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. It's Manda Fine Meats, where flavor and spice, yours truly, and JP and Marty really do say it all. Back right after this.
Move and be moved by these savings right now at Team Mazda. Choose a new 25 Mazda CX-50, Mazda CX-70, or Mazda CX-90 and get low 1.9% financing. Discover the Mazda experience and save right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And don't forget to have plenty of water, Powerade Zero, whatever you drink. Do not get into the carbonated drinks if you want to survive this heat and humidity. Let's get right into it. We're going to give you some highlights from the Supers. And Game 1, JP, obviously the Tigers were a little nervous. The fan base was a little nervous. But Garrett Curiel, of course, started it off with a 3-run bomb on Oppo, and that was great things. But as you see, here's Cade Anderson. You know the great thing about it, JP, Cade Anderson and Anthony Iacin were not at their best, and they were still good enough. But there is the 3-run dinger, Oppo, and Derek Curiel. Can you imagine how many dingers he's going to hit after putting on about 7 pounds of muscle this summer?
Yep, very lean still for his build. There you see the Superfan Mike with the ball.
Yeah.
That was a great scene for LSU. Derek Curl out that 7-hole didn't let the bump down the lineup affect him at all. Truly locked into the game, did his job for LSU, executed in a big way, gave LSU a lead 3-1.
It's real simple, folks. You give a lead to Anthony Iacin, you give a lead to Cade Anderson, you feel like you're going to win it. There's the crowd, and they're fired up. And then here, once again, another Oppo, and this is for a granny.
Yeah, 4 RBIs, 1 swing. Love to see it if you're a Monster Milam fan. Of course, we all are in Baton Rouge. He struggled to play it all year, but man, turned himself into the best defensive shortstop in the league. Happy he turned it around, let the end, carrying the Tigers. Lots of RBIs, just what the Tigers needed at the time.
Of course, as you mentioned, Mikey Linton was a long-time Tiger season ticket holder, catching that ball from Curiel with his bare hands, and then Oppo for this granny, and then one more Let me see who this is. This is a base hit, and we're getting ready to. But Tigers put this thing away pretty early. After you have 3 swings and 11 runs coming in, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I got to give a shout-out to Stanfield, too. Stanley had a great regional and super regional. Lots of RBIs. Been totally solid for LSU at that 9 spot. So can't give enough credit to him. Staying at the bottom of that lineup, flipping over, getting to the top, getting on base with those RBIs certainly helps LSU, too.
And here's Josh Pearson, of course, playing his final games in the box, and he goes granny for a guy that's been sitting and couldn't get in to play because Jake Brown's been so good. An appropriate home run, but class through and through. He's the only guy on the team still left from year 1 with Jay Johnson.
Yeah, 4 years for Josh Pearson. Everybody on the team looks up to him. The relationship he has with Jake Brown really speaks to the camaraderie and the character of this baseball team. They seem to be really great friends and happy for each other when they both have success.
They did give up some runs here at the end of the game, but there is the big fella Maverick Rizzi finishing it off. And, man, when you've got Rizzi, you've got Chase Shores, and you've got Jacob Myers all bringing up there 97, 98, 100. It's tough, especially if they're throwing strikes, JP.
Yeah, if they're pounding the zone, bud, man, they all have electric stuff. I mean, you get up over 100 in a game, it's tough to even see, let alone hit. And you could break off that curveball or slider to change speeds. It gets really tough, bud, man. So if you're throwing a lot of strikes, it's almost impossible to hit.
All right, we go quickly to the second game of the Super Regional. We're playing these for you, especially if you've been out of town on vacation or whatever. And we get into the Game 2 of the Super Regional highlights. And once again, Eisen not at his best, but plenty good enough. And here we go. What was that?
That was a double play, but Jake Brown gets the RBI.
Okay.
That's what happens. You get second and third with less than 2 outs. You can have a ground ball that can score a run. RBI, Jake Brown, 1-0 LSU early in the ball game.
Here's Eisen once again. Good, but not his best stuff, and that's a real positive. Anthony Eisen and Cade Anderson will not be on this team next year, but what a great 1-2 punch this year. JP, does JJ play it straight and throw Anderson the first game against Arkansas? Once again, Tigers starting to accumulate runs here.
Yeah, huge RBI again for Monster Milan with double with the bases loaded. To answer your question about who's going to pitch Game 1, I would not be surprised in the littlest bit if Ianson towed the bump in Game 1. Coach Jay Johns talked about it all year. This guy has control of 4 pitches, and the way he competes, the way he's in shape, he has a great attitude. He wants to go out there. I would not be shocked at all if Ianson is the Game 1 starter.
And I'm going with the lefty, Cade Anderson, to get the ball. Of course, this was another game where LSU extended the lead. And, look, when you're scoring 16 on Saturday and you're scoring 12 on Sunday, now this is a game where it was supposed to start at 5:06 and barely got delayed to 6:06. First pitch was 7:56. But once again, hey, I don't think we can say enough about Chris Stanfield. You talked about it. He's been fantastic the last month.
Yeah, bases loaded, another crucial situation for Stanny. Comes up with a big single, 2 RBIs. He can play great defensive center field, but the way he flips over the lineup for LSU is you can't put a price on it.
And once again, here we go. Jake Brown with a 400-plus shot. I got to mess with Scarborough. We had a little man to find me prediction how many home runs in this Super Regional. He said 5, and I said 4. I picked 5. He said, I got 5. I said, I'll take 4. 4 dingers, JP. The question is, in Omaha, is the ball going to carry, and is LSU going to hit a couple home runs in every game in Omaha?
If they keep seeing mistakes the way they are and crushing balls over the heart of the plate, I have no doubt in my mind they'll be able to hit the long ball. LSU, too many hitters up and down the lineup that can hit it over the fence. He goes Monster Milan again, another RBI scoring fry. So LSU cruising this past weekend. Obviously, the run support helped the 2 starting pitchers who weren't on their best, as you mentioned. But, hey, I'll take a 75% Ianson and Cade Anderson over, more than half the pitchers in the country.
Freshman lefty coming in here, Cooper Williams. He has been fantastic. And once again, Derek Currier, what a great catch. Has not made an error all year long. I think that we haven't said it enough, JP.
Yep.
This is the best fielding team Jay Johnson's had at LSU in 4 years.
Yeah, and it really starts with the infield and having 2 shortstops play the left side. Tanner Reeves did a great job coming in for Braswell, but Monster Milan absolutely starts it off. Of course, you have Bear Jones, a ton of experience at first base. Danny Dickinson has done a fantastic job at second base, not only defensively, but also we can do with the bat. Yeah, you mentioned it, Bud, man. The best defensive team I've seen at LSU.
Chase Shores strikes him out at 101. Everybody's hugging. Skip Bertman coming down to hug Jay Johnson. And it was a team effort, so across the board you give. Skip used to get mad at me, JP, and I'd say, Coach, can you get your team to peak at the right time. He didn't like that P word. He didn't like me to say peaking at the right time. But look, Jay Johnson will tell you, we play every game like it's a championship game. But the hot teams are still playing. The ones that are gone cold aren't there. Who of the seeds, the national seeds, and specifically from the SEC that didn't get there, didn't even get out of their regional? What was the biggest surprise of the team not advancing for you, JP?
Ole Miss and Auburn both going down in a super, I thought was pretty remarkable. And you got to give credit to Murray State. I mean, the first time in program history going to the College World Series, you know those fans are pumped up, the coaches pumped up, and the players are pumped up. They're all ready to go. But yeah, I thought Auburn, who beat up LSU pretty good, if you remember, in the SEC schedule. I was surprised they got bounced in the fashion they did. Ole Miss, Arkansas, tip of the hat, beating Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was playing good baseball, and they're a very confident bunch, as we talked about it in the beginning. But Jay Johnson says, Arkansas is the most talented team in the country, so all focus shifts to the Razorbacks. But yeah, a lot of good SEC teams did get put away. So, a brand new World Series, no team that was in it last year is going to play in it this year. 6 different conferences are represented, and we thought, with all this NIL money that gets spent on baseball, we thought that the top tier, the SECs of the country, were going to succeed. And I think you saw all the, top 8 bids and the hosting of regional and super regional. But hey, baseball's a funny game. Pitcher will dominate good hitting if he's on, and we just saw a couple plays here and there, and all these SEC teams, they thought it was going to be a loaded SEC Omaha. Really just turns out to be 2 teams, and they play in the first game, so. It's really a flagship prime-time game on Saturday with the Tigers and the Razorbacks.
Another quick break. We'll pay some bills and come back and let you hear from Anthony Ison, Bear Jones, and, of course, Monster Milam right here Wednesday, June the 11th. Tigers once again play this Saturday at 6 o'clock against Arkansas, and it is going to be much anticipated, an open, crazy field. LSU and Arkansas are the 2 favorites to win the Natty, but nothing is given. You got to win that game on Saturday. Quick timeout. We're back with more players, Jay Johnson and Tyrann Mathieu, at the end of the show on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Right now is Tundra time at Team Toyota, where you can get 0% financing on a new 25 Tundra or get $3,000 customer cash plus $1,000 trade-in allowance. Find these savings and so much more right now at Team Toyota, I-12 and O'Neill.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And by the way, if you got through that traffic snafu yesterday, God bless you. That was incredible lockdown. You know, we sometimes call Baton Rouge Podunk, Louisiana, when we have some traffic problems. But be careful, folks. Watch where you're going. And as we know, nothing worse than a summertime fender bender that locks down the city. Here we go, JP. Anthony Iacon, Jared the Bear Jones, and Monster Milan letting you hear from the guys after the Super Regional out at the box on Sunday night.
Yeah, very tough lineup, obviously. Just had to mentally, lock in a little bit more than normal. Just focus on executing the pitch, slowing down in the moment. A couple of times where I felt like I was just moving a little too fast. Just wanted to slow down, really take a deep breath, and just be myself.
Back here, guys, left. Michael?
Jared, when we talked to you guys at the beginning of the season, a lot of you use the phrase, we have the right guys on the bus with us, right? And you guys adopted that toughened together mindset. Just kind of speak to the journey that this team has been on and the character that it's taken to get them to the point that you guys are right now.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable ride for us the last 9 or 10 months that we've put in together as a team. Started, all the way back in, September 1st in the meeting room, meeting everybody for the first time and, going out there and having our first practice in the humidity and the heat. So, we were built in it from day one. And, from day one, there was a fundamental to go out there and compete and to have a lot of fun doing it. And that's what we did tonight was we went out there and we competed and we had a lot of fun doing it. And these two guys sitting next to me, I'm super blessed to be sitting next to them and call them my teammates and my brothers. And I'm super excited for what lies ahead of us.
Steven, back here. John Sokoloff with WGNO in New Orleans. When your team needed you the most in these supers, you had 8 RBIs in these 2 games. Grand slam, bases clearing double to really give you guys separation. What is it about these big moments that you think really allows you to thrive, and what was working so well for you this weekend?
Just being patient. I hang with my dad a lot. Just getting back to the basics, and I love the big moment. And I didn't play or help my team as much as I wanted to during the year, and I had to step up to take pressure off the other guys, and I feel like I've been able to do that. And our whole team's running great at bats 1 through 9. I mean, you can punch in 15 different guys and we're going to beat you. But I just love the big moments, what I came here for, and this is why you come to LSU.
Jared, how does this feeling compare to 2 years ago when you guys made it? You're part of the team, but now you're one of the leaders and one of the guys they count on.
Yeah, I look back at my freshman year a lot throughout the year of just kind of like moments in that year where I could kind of learn from it, whether that was guys on the field or, me as a spectator watching the games. Just is always something I could take from it my freshman year, and I tried to really dive into that and really kind of take in and soak it all in. And, this year just going out there and competing, and knowing that it's 9-on-1 out there and it's going to be a great time. Alex Box was packed, and it was awesome. There's nothing more I could say than just I'm super grateful. And what a wonderful day it's been.
For Steven and Jared, I guess, just kind of building on the offense, you guys seem pretty dialed into your approach this weekend, really capitalizing on their mistakes a lot. Just scoring 28 runs over the 2 games, just what does that do for you guys confidence-wise? And just, how well y'all think you're swinging the bat right now going into Omaha?
Yeah, I think it's big for us. I think we had a great weekend. Obviously, we capped off a good, season at home in Alex Box, and that was something we wanted to do. We wanted to punch our ticket to Omaha, and we wanted to get the bats going, and we did that. And the job's not finished. We got a lot more work ahead of us. We're going to have practice on Tuesday, get on a plane on Wednesday, and fly out there and get right back to work and get, recovered and rested, and get ready for Game 1.
I just think 1 through 9, running tough at bats together. It's not always going to go perfect, but us just sticking with it and making us hard to get out is the biggest thing for us, and just sticking to our approach.
Chessa Boucher with NBC 33 here in Baton Rouge. Jared, you and Steven are very close, and he had a monster weekend, pun intended. Just what did you see from him?
Yeah, he was completely in control of himself. Coach Johnson kind of went through the lineup before the game and just told him that if he kept taking the ABs that he'd been taking for the last 2 weeks, that we were going to go out there and have a really good chance to win this game. And all 4 or 5 of his at-bats, he went out there and competed his tail off and really did a good job. 4 RBIs, had that big bases clearing double for us. So He was just himself this weekend, and he did a great job for us and got the momentum in our dugout.
Nick Ostrelli, Daily Athenaeum, West Virginia. Jared and Steven, this was statistically Cartsonis' worst start of the season. What were your guys' plans in the box against him, and what made you guys so successful?
Yeah, we just went out there and we wanted to get pitches in the middle of the plate and do damage on them, and kind of just take everything else. And that was really our plan going into it, was get the ball at the plate in the thigh and don't miss it. And when he lets us walk down to first base, you take it. So that was kind of the plan and approach going into tonight, and I thought we did a good job executing it.
Yeah, he was missing a little bit, just trying to get him in our zone and just take good swings. And, we took our walks and capitalized when we needed to.
Go ahead, Michael. Yeah, Anthony, just the job that Cooper and Chase did for you, the growth that we've seen out of Chase all season, but Cooper really turning it on late, I guess. What do you see in those two guys throwing the ball?
Yeah, just really consistent with their work ethic. Both those guys never give up. It's never been easy for them, and they've always worked hard, so it's really easy to be confident in those two guys who put their best foot forward every time.
Go ahead. Alex Day, College Baseball Central. Jared, what can you take away from your freshman year in 23 and apply to this time going to Omaha and help, some of the guys who haven't been to Omaha before?
Yeah, I just think it's really important to, get back to your fundamentals and take it one pitch at a time. It's just baseball, it's a change of venue, but that's about it. We have to go out there, take balls, swing and strikes, crush mistakes, and throw strikes offensively or defensively, and play great defense behind our pitchers. So the game doesn't change. We're going to go out there, compete, and take things one pitch at a time in Omaha.
Hey, Jared, here in the back row, Megan Glover, WGNO in New Orleans. Sticking with that theme, of course, when you compare the two programs, the two Omaha programs or teams, what was it about this team that's taking y'all back, that you believe?
Yeah, I just think it's the collection of guys that we have in the locker room. I think go back to last Monday against Little Rock, Coach Johnson said not one guy was going to let us lose that game. We all kind of collectively took a step forward that day as far as where we wanted to go as a team and kind of the contribution everybody was putting into the team and the effort and the energy in the dugout. And so for us to go out there tonight, we knew what was on the line. We didn't need any motivation to go out there and compete today. And we were just doing it for one another. The 9 guys on the field, the 10 or 12 guys in the dugout, those are the reason why I show up to the field every day and compete for those guys and make sure that, they know how much I care about them and willing to go out there and perform for them.
You gotta love the fact that Jared Jones is not striking out so much. It was ugly a couple 3 weeks ago, folks. He was swinging as hard as he could. They've got his bat control a little bit. JP, you said an important part of the show earlier. LSU's got to be selective at the plate. If they don't go up there and swing at every first pitch, but they look at something, Todd Walker will tell you long and long, the more you make him get into his repertoire of pitches and get his pitch count up, the better it is. Interesting to see if the heat and humidity will be a factor at Omaha. But Jay Johnson, would you trade him in for anybody else? We're getting ready to hear from Jay Johnson, but what kind of grades you give Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske this year?
So for some reason, Bud, man, I followed this group pretty close. Off the field, the way they do the press conferences, the way they talk about each other. Coach Jay Johnson, you have to give him all the credit in the world. Not only getting these freshmen in the building, foregoing the MLB draft, but come to LSU, represent, fit into a group of a huge amount of talent. I mean, you're just one of the guys. You're no longer the stud from the high school team. You had a chance to go play Major League Baseball, and now you're going to come to LSU to chase a college championship, hopefully get a degree. The way that these players, pull for each other, sacrifice for each other, they're happy when each other has success. There's no ill will when you're not batting second or batting eighth, and you're not playing today, you're sitting out, somebody else is batting for you. Everybody pulling the same direction. But the way that he is able to not only get the freshman studs in the building, but then give them a chance to play early and give them the confidence to succeed. He's done a phenomenal job. He's intentional about everything he does, extremely detail-oriented. They do nothing for no reason. Everything has a reason behind it. He's always living, sleeping, breathing baseball. When he's not coaching, Thank God for his wife. I mean, to sacrifice all that time, let her husband, chase after these recruits constantly. And with college baseball, with the portal and the high school guys, it's just a nonstop job. I wouldn't trade Jay Johnson for a single coach in college baseball. I believe he's the best. You can take Tony Vitello. The way that team handles themselves, the cockiness, the arrogance, I just can't stand it. I'll take Jay Johnson every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
And to show you how good he is, folks, he was multitasking. Even though LSU's been trying to advance through the regional and the super regional, they have brought in a couple of guys in the portal for next year. Braden Simpson, a infielder from High Point, 22 dingers, a big stick, and also got a kid that was from Louisiana, Seth Dardar, played at Holy Cross in New Orleans, was at Kansas State, hit a home run off of Kate Anderson earlier in this year. He is coming in, another big stick. So already 2 infielders in the portal. Here is the coach, Jay Johnson, getting you ready for LSU Arkansas on Saturday night at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
7 minutes in length, and really just outlining the schedule for this week. I think taking out any unknowns from them as far as what's coming, how we were going to do today, tomorrow, travel day, what that looks like. We'll practice when we get there, and then Thursday is a busy day, if you will. Practice at the stadium, kind of fun day. Media, team picture in front of the statue. Get them ready to expect all that. Get them aligned for Friday, which will be the day before the game, what we're going to do there, and get them in a regular routine for a 6 p.m. game on Saturday night. So it's basically just outlining the week, and then a few logistical things, so they could put all that out of their mind and get back to what's made us our team, and just being really good at preparing for the baseball part of it. So that's really all it was. We started at 4, we were done by 4:07.
You said, at different points, it's not really about motivation at this point. It's about just doing what you've been doing all season.
Yeah.
So nothing really changes just because you're advancing to another round. It's the same kind of stuff.
Not at all. It's the beauty of baseball, and we start talking about this in September when you talk about the fundamentals of fielding a ground ball in a 4-on-1 skill instruction session on individual defense. The same fundamentals that'll make that player the same ones that make them in Omaha. And so it's this thought around baseball and winning baseball doesn't really change. The people that play the game sometimes change, and we want to be really good in our mental game and our strengths so that we stay in character and execute our process of winning, which this team's been very good and very consistent at. And it's just kind of leaning into, or what I would say doubling down on, what makes us us is really the plan and blueprint for playing well in Omaha.
When Chase is throwing the ball like that at the end of the game, what does that do for you guys, I guess?
It was electric. Holy cow. I was kind of, obviously you're in the moment of, we're 4 outs away, then 3 outs away, then 2 outs away. I mean, that's just human nature. But I actually was able to, peel back from that for a second and go, the vision of recruiting him here, that's what it was. And to see him, and I thought he used the previous week really well and had a really good week leading into it. Thought his demeanor going into this weekend was great, and I thought it was really cool that he was the one that got to finish that.
What's a couple of go ahead. Does facing a team like Arkansas in the first game change the math in terms of how you approach the pitching heading into that one, or just given their caliber, their talent, you guys obviously know how good they are?
Oh yeah, they're the most talented team in the country. There's no question about that, and that was addressed when we played them the first time. And I think this is the postseason. I think again, you just kind of go back to how we approach every game as like a postseason game. I think that really helps us. We're not there yet as far as laying out the plan of who's going to start or where we're going to go with that at this point. And what that means for game 2, because you're guaranteed 2. That's a good thing with the day off in between. And then you're back in that kind of regional format. And, I think take a lot of pride in setting things up for tournament success. And, we'll do that. And we are in the midst of doing that, so to speak. is just a great opponent. Like, this whole entire season, if we were going to get where we wanted to go, there was no question in my mind whether we would play them or not. That's what, I felt like this was inevitable, whether it was going to be game one or the finals. So just do it in game one.
Even besides the opponent, how important is it to win that game one to set yourself up for the rest of the tournament?
Well, the 2 times I've been in the finals, we've lost one of the first 2 games. So to me, it's not a death sentence if you don't. I would love to try the deal through the winner's bracket one time just to see how it feels. That's just, I don't feel that way. The postseason baseball is awesome. Whether you're in the winner's bracket, the loser's bracket, Omaha is awesome. And you just take the one in front of you. And, our team's capable of winning 3 and losing 1. Losing 1 and winning 4, played all 8 that you could possibly play twice. So, feel like I have a pretty good gamut of how the flow of the tournament goes. It really doesn't get past one game for me, and super boring. But there's a method to that.
You play out all the scenarios and how you can imagine the pitching.
Oh, for sure. I think that's just, you stay in the moment, you play the game in front of you. That's what I asked the players to do. Like, the task offensively was like, play the inning in front of you on Sunday night. Like, that's it. Don't get ahead of what this means or whatnot. And I think there's just the ability to stay in the moment, be present, is huge. I'm the one person that can and needs to think ahead to give us the best chance of success, so we never get behind the game. And there's a lot of things that go into that. I haven't started re-scouting Arkansas. I'll look at them like we've never played them before. And it's just back to my theory that I always talk to you guys about of guys change game to game, let alone whatever we played them 4 weeks ago. I've lost count or track. And then, now we know who else is on our side of the bracket. Murray State, UCLA. I got some good advice a long time ago from another coach that's won a championship that's been there several times. It's don't even worry about the other side of the bracket until you have to. And I can say twice, that's how we've approached it. I did go to one game last time on the other side when Florida was playing and was 2-0 because we hadn't played them in the regular season, just to kind of lay eyes on them. And I did the same thing with Coastal Carolina and was playing TCU, I think, on the other side, just to and it's cool to be in that ballpark. And, if you're there that deep, it means you're still playing and all that. But we'll just kind of focus on Arkansas. And then you have the day off after the first one regardless, which is really helpful. Now you have to go in with a pretty good foundation, which we will. The next few days are really busy in regards to, getting prepared for our side of the bracket. But, and then it helps you, get out ahead of those decisions.
Of course, everyone should know that this is the 20th trip to Omaha for LSU. They've got 7 natties. Arkansas making their 12th trip, and they have yet to win it. Look, I really believe, JP, the winner of this game, LSU-Arkansas on Saturday night, has a great opportunity to play 2 out of 3. If you take care of business and you beat Arkansas, who Jay Johnson is going to tell you the most talented team in the country,
yep.
You play in the winner's bracket, the winner of UCLA, Murray State, Monday night. If you lose at 1 o'clock, and then I just don't know if LSU's got enough pitching and enough timely hitting to get through the loser's bracket to get back in there. So, really, you could get an idea of who might win it with that game and the winner on Saturday night at 6 o'clock, JP.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of have an argument for the College World Series needs to be reseeded. I mean, the 2 favorites play the first game on a Saturday night. So, great matchup for LSU. Obviously, both teams uber talented. 1 through 9 can all hit the ball over the wall. And great pitching is going to be starting with either Anderson or Ianson. LSU is comfortable with either one. They feel like they are both the true ace. Looking forward to it. But, man, going to be a great matchup.
All right, we'll take our final time out. We come back, give you a little football talk. In case you missed it, revenue sharing did get approved by the judge, Claudia Wilkin. And so now, starting July 1, everybody should know that athletes can get paid by the university. $20.5 million is going to be the budget for the first year. LSU expected to spend about $14 million on football. The other $6.5 million will go to the other sports. We'll talk about that, and also get you a little preview from the Honey Badger with the Saints and new coach Kellen Murray. Of course, as we know, he is going to be leading the Saints. And JP will get your info on what you think about the OTAs and what they're going to do in July when they have the first camp of the year, mid-July, getting ready for another season with the Saints. Back with more on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And we come back, as we said, faux pas, Kellen Moore, the new Saints coach. We'll talk about that with the Honey Badger. JP, before we go to the Honey Badger, let's talk real quick, a minute or so. Revenue sharing, what kind of impact? And man, oh man, you're going to be able to pay these players, but there's also going to be a lot of under the table. There's no way you can pay 85 to 105 players with $20.5 million. You're only getting $14 million, so interesting scenario. Good, Charlie, the NCAA president, says, hey, if we had not had this deal with the judge, the NCAA was going to go bankrupt, JP.
Yeah, but, man, I do appreciate the effort. Get some type of reins on this NIL situation. It's been a wild, wild west, kind of mercenary type deal. So, yeah, happy there's some type of construct, some type of baseline to work off of. But you mentioned it. I mean, $20 million for all sports. Arch Manning's going to knock that down in the fall. So, yeah, it's going to be under the table for sure. I don't see as much parity as maybe some other folks are hoping for with this new collective bargaining agreement. But, yeah, I agree. It's going to be a lot under the table. And I think the cream's going to rise to the crop. And, the great players are going to go to great institutions, great programs. And I can't see much changing except for now, these boosters can't pay the players. It has to come, from the university. So we'll see. I at least appreciate there's some type of guidelines now on what these players are worth in the open market.
We will talk more about that as we get closer to football. Here's the Honey Badger. You're going to take a double take. He looks a little different with the short hair. Here is Tyrann, the Honey Badger, Matthew.
I think you made a very smart move with the new haircut with this weather today, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Try to shave some years off, you know what I mean?
12 o'clock practice. When you heard your first minicamp practice at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, what was that reaction?
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm born and raised there, so I think it's all a part of, the experience, you know what I mean?
What's it like going into you're 13 now?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I got a good outlook on it. Obviously it's a different scheme system, so some learning involved there. But I'm happy to be here.
How'd you spend your off season?
Just with the kids, my pops. That's pretty much it.
You're still a very young man.
I hope so.
But how do you keep, at this stage of your career, how do you stay at top level off season?
I mean, you just find the time to kind of unwind, let go, and then you just got to realize when it's time to kick it back in gear. But for me, man, my off seasons it's much different than year 5, year 6, where I'm kind of focused on myself. I'm going into year 13. I got 4 kids, so a lot of that focus is on them. You know what I mean? So that's probably like the biggest difference and change.
How do you feel about this new movement, this new head coach, this whole thing?
I mean, I played against him when he was a head coach in Kansas City. When he was in Chargers and I was with Kansas City. I always thought his defenses, they played hard. They moved around a lot. Even from like the back end perspective, I always felt like his safeties were involved, in the game. And so they play a lot of top down. You could go watch Derwin James film, a couple other guys film. So I think that's exciting.
What's it been like having more guys from Louisiana, from Baton Rouge and New Orleans on the team?
I mean, it's cool. I guess, it's just more people to kind of pick at and see where to go, where not to go, what to eat, what not to eat. So it's fun, though, man. A lot of these guys, we all grew up, watching each other, you know what I mean? So to see all of us kind of, to come here, you want to do something good, you want to do something positive, so you want to win. I think that's really the only focus.
Foster said last week that aspect of it could make you guys different and special. Do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it hasn't gone our way, the last few years. I don't think anybody's picking us to do anything this year. And, if we could find a way to kind of come together. And two, man, like have fun. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we had nearly as much fun as we should have had, the last couple of years. And I think some people overlook it, but I think that's a big part of, winning, losing, culture, et cetera.
What about Justin Reed?
He reminds me of when Tyrann Mathieu was getting interviewed by all of us in the media when he was a freshman and sophomore with the short hair. Of course, probably as good a defensive player at LSU for his size ever in LSU football history. Oh, by the way, you're going to hear this nonstop this summer heading into August, Marty. And that is just how important this first game is for BK and the Tigers. Everything that we're hearing, folks, AP is going to have Clemson in the 5 or 6 range, probably have LSU in the 7, 8, or 9 range, top 10 matchup. In case you missed the announcement yesterday, game day is going to Ohio State. That is the first game that Lee Corso put the hat and the helmet on, picking the winner of the game. And he will have his final show of his career in Columbus, Ohio. So on the morning of August 30th, you'll hear game day at Texas and Ohio State. That game's in Columbus. Arch Manning with a big start. Will he lay an egg or will they upset Ohio State? And then the rest of the day, of course, culmination with LSU and Clemson. Saturday night on August 30th at 6:30. Couldn't do it without JP, Marty, Alan, Bert, all of our owners. Enjoy your Wednesday. See you in a couple weeks, everybody, for another edition of Tigers Roar.